Some people leave a mark through wins and championships. Others leave it through their lives they have shaped. For our next inductee, it's parents. Gary Lembcke grew up in Morris, Minnesota, where he was a three-sport athlete and the school's first 1,000-point scorer in basketball, holding that record for more than 20 years. He carried that success to the University of Minnesota Morris, where he earned his education degree while continuing his career in basketball. Gary came to Central Elementary as a young teacher and stayed for 30 years, shaping the lives of second graders and beyond. But it was on the basketball court where his influence reached legendary status. For 39 seasons, he served as the head girls basketball coach, building a program into one of the best in the state. With 689 career wins, he ranked 6th all-time in the state of Minnesota. His teams made 4 state tournament appearances, finishing 3rd in 2018, and dominated the conference with 13 championships, including an incredible 7-year streak. Along the way, he earned Section Coach of the Year 4 times, the Minnesota River Conference Outstanding Coach Award, and induction to the Minnesota Girls Basketball Hall of Fame. But perhaps his proudest memories came when his own daughters wore Central jerseys and was able to coach them on the sidelines. Please join me in honoring teacher, mentor, leader, and true Hall of Famer, Gary Lembcke.
I too would like to thank the Booster Club and the Hall of Fame Committee for putting on this program. Really a shout out to the Hall of Fame Committee, because I can imagine how you come up with a list of, sort through the names that the so many deserving candidates have brought out and come up with a list. I truly appreciate the being selected. Thank you for that. Last night I was in Morris celebrating my college basketball coaches going into the Hall of Fame, and where I played college today. And we had a get together, and it was so much fun because it was such a celebration. And you talk about wins, I can't tell you what happened in certain games, how many times you beat this team or anything like that. The camaraderie and the connections you make, and the teamwork, all those type of things, and the things we talked about. We had some great stories, how one time we're playing a team, and the football team always sat in the front row cheering on the basketball team, and the referee kind of made a call that one of them disagreed with, and I was kind of guarding a guy, and was kind of like, what's going on here? And I put my eye, I see one of our football players going down the sideline shooting out the official. And it's kind of like those are the memories that come. And I think I look back at coaching here at Central, and I couldn't ask for a better experience. I'm not saying everything was rosy all the time, but when I look back at the memories, the relationships, the friends that I've made, I can't say enough about it. I look at, I have to thank my family having to put up with me during the coaching season, all those times, I think one of my favorite stories is my wife, I think that kind of had me going to games, was had my son at a game, and all of a sudden I see this ugly brown pacifier that he threw and rolled across the court. And I knew it was his because he had pulled out the end. It's moments like that to remember. But, there's the players, I can't thank them enough. I learned so much from you, as much from you guys, if not more, and what you probably learned from me, that I'm some old guy, that yelled or whatever. But, we got a story later on to tell. The parents, I can't tell you how great and getting to know you and the help you guys put into the program, you know, the community, all those type of things. I remember we had a group of guys when I first started coaching, we'd get together and we'd play in tournaments for youth basketball. A couple of guys would take care of the reffing, another guy would be going to Sam's Club, pick up the groceries, somebody else would be printing off scorecards, and a couple of us would be getting our tennis shoes ready to referee. With my knowledge about computers, I wasn't one of the computer people, I'll tell you that. And that's another area where parents really helped out. They're the ones that sent out newsletters, letting people know what's going on, all those things. I can't thank you enough for that. You know, it's kind of like, you know, all of that goes all together. You know, the support staff, I saw Donna Herman here tonight, and reminds me when you come into the office and she's asking programs and, you know, what we need for games and all those type of things. And again, my relationship was always fun. She was always so complimentary and, you know, things like that. And people that keep score, you know, announcing, all those things. You know, it just seems like it all, you bring it all together. When you think about it, it's overwhelming, but it's all, you know, kind of going together and stuff like that. Athletic directors. I've had some great athletic directors when I was here. Ed Brown was the athletic director when I started. I think Joe was there when I ended. You know, the one athletic director that I have probably for the longest was Ron Erpenbach. And if you would have wanted to be fired, he's probably the reason I stayed, because Ron knew one word that I always appreciated. He knew how to thank people. You know, I mean, we had our arguments. I mean, he used to be my neighbor when I was in when he was in junior high. Enough said on that. Okay, but Ron knew how to say thank you. You know, and we always got along, and I always was very appreciative of that. You know, and the other thing, I gotta have notes here. You know, my coaches. I've had a lot of great coaches and very knowledgeable coaches. You know, three of them I think I'm gonna have for a long time. John Hanson was in junior high for numerous years. Wade Dagler, the last probably 10, 11 years that I coached, was my assistant coach. And he was great. Young guy, but very respectful. Great, person to work with. And a good buddy of mine is Rick Wilhelm, who's a coach that I probably coached with, I don't know how many years, probably in the 20s. And unfortunately, at the beginning of last basketball season, Rick passed away. I don't know if you know this, I'm going to fish now. The reason I'm wearing it, back in the late 80s and 1900, we had some teams that were very successful going to state tournament, going to the regions and stuff like that. And our calling card, Rick started it, he would wear a fish tie to school. And pretty soon it was, oh, hey, girls basketball game today. He even had some ugly bow tie sunfish that he wore at times. But it got to be that way. And then we had some guy that, I think we called him the fishette, that was our cheerleader. We gave him a megaphone. He'd sit on the sidelines cheering for us. And we even had referees. We couldn't wait to come out to Norway because we wanted to see what fish ties you were. You know, we'd go shopping for fish ties. But, you know, he was a very good friend, and, you know, dearly miss the guy. And he's a little odd not having him here. But, you know, but I think I look back and, you know, I look at people that played a big influence in my coaching career, and I can go back to 5th grade. And I remember a guy by the name of Bill Kuhn, who's an old high school Hall of Fame coach. He was coaching 5th grade. And back then, we didn't start playing basketball in 5th grade. And I remember our first game, and I'm at the free throw line, and God, that looked a long ways away. So I threw it like a baseball. Luckily, I didn't break the backboard, but he took me out of the game. you know, and that's where I learned a lot of patience. He said, Gary, you always shoot like that? He said, Coach, that was a long ways away. Well, here's what we're going to do. You put your hand right on the ball like this, you put the other hand on the side of the ball, and you shoot it that way. If nothing else, we'll fake them out that you know how to shoot. Another coach that, you know, I thought did a great job of shooting me was Roger Schnauzer, who became a teacher in junior high. And he took an interest in me because I was rather tall. He was a real tall guy, too, 6'9". But, you know, my parents hadn't gone to college, and, you know, I mean, my dad grew up on a farm, and my mom grew up on a farm. He was like, okay, Gary, we're going to get you, you know, I mean, you want to play basketball in college? So it was like, he started talking to me about goals and things like that, you know, and making education important. The one story I remember about him, some seniors were giving me grief one day because they found out I had failed a test in sophomore math. And unfortunately, Roger heard it. Gary, I want to see you in the office after practice. So I walked in, I'm looking up to him, and, you know, he said, I don't ever want to hear about you failing the test again. And you better be in the honor roll from now on. He scared the crap out of me, I was, you know, but, you know, just taking an interest in people, you know, and then my college coach, Rich Glass, who we got to go visit with last night, and I don't know, the guy is so knowledgeable about things and life and all that type of stuff. You know, he says basically, we've got 3 rules we have. Do what's right, do your best, and treat people the way you want to be treated. You'll be very successful. And I'll never forget that. But he was always treating everybody like it was a family. And it was, like I said, I had so much fun last night, looking like a bunch of guys like me, limping around, overweight, and, you know, but it was, I think we had all the athletes, we tried to bring the athletes from the 70s back then, because in college, that was kind of the heyday back then. We had coaches that went on, even a trainer got put in the Hall of Fame, and Morris, and he used to be the trainer of Duke the last 3 years, under Mike Krzyzewski. But, you know, so, you know, those people shaped a lot of me, who I am, which, you know, hopefully maturity-wise, things like that. I just want to end with one story. Learned this from a player. Had a bad game where I was just, oh man, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And this freshman comes up to me and says to me, Coach, thank you. And I look at her and it's like, thank you. I should be thanking you. You've got the great attitude. You're out there hustling your butt. I probably lost a game for us, you know, by some stupid mistakes. You know, and I didn't handle it very well. I mean, I felt bad afterwards. Talked to him the next day and said, you know, I appreciate you coming and thanking me and stuff like that. And he just hit me in a bad moment. You know, and she used to thank me after every practice and everything else, you know, for 4 years. And I would look forward to that after practice. And the one thing right now, I go to 1st and 3rd grade basketball games, you can believe that, because that's where my grandkids are right now. And one of the things I want them to do when they get done, we have a clinic or camp or playing a game, go thank the coaches. You know, because it means so much. It's kind of like I asked my granddaughter, how did they feel when you said thank you? I said they smiled. Okay, look what you did for them, because you're showing your appreciation for them. I can't thank the people here enough. I mean, the community and all that. I mean, I'm not saying everything was, you know, golden or whatever, but when you put the weigh it and stuff like that, I mean, I could have asked for a better place to coach, you know. I mean, I get asked a question, how did you ever last as long as you did? Well, it's because of parents and players and the community. I mean, so, I'll end with that. Thank you.